His statement comes amid growing controversy in the province. In the last 2 months, 7 men have been shot dead by the security forces. The dispute at the Times is over. There are no national papers tomorrow, but the newspaper will appear again on Monday. The electricians who walked out in a row over new equipment seem to have won substantial concessions. They've got extra money, 4 threatened jobs are being retained, and there's to be a review of working agreements in 6 months. And the union claims that an indefinite pay freeze has been withdrawn by the management. An 82-year-old woman from the Falklands who needs medical attention arrived in England just an hour ago after an exhausting flight from the South Atlantic. When the Royal Air Force transport touched down at Brize Norton, an ambulance is waiting for Mrs. Ethel Ferguson, who's suffering from a broken hip. With South American hospitals close to them, such patients with acute problems must endure the 24-hour journey to Britain. Nicholas Witchell saw Mrs. Ferguson carried from her home in Port Stanley soon after a fall several days ago.
The isolation of the Falklands community is felt most acutely when there is a medical emergency. An 82-year-old local woman has fallen over in her home and fractured her hip. An army medical team arrives within minutes of being summoned. The patient is placed in an ambulance and removed to hospital. Apart from the pain and alarm to the patient, it should be a straightforward enough matter.
But Stanley's little hospital is quite unable to deal with a case such as this. In British terms, it's no more than a cottage hospital, though currently strengthened with the presence of army doctors. But they have neither the expertise nor the equipment to treat an elderly woman with a broken hip. Before the fighting, she would have been taken automatically to Argentina for treatment. But that, of course, is no longer possible, and no other South American country will take her either.
So there is only one step open to the medical authorities here. The patient will have to come to Britain. The lady, Mrs. Ethel Ferguson, has been made comfortable in Stanley Hospital and joined in a seasonal carol concert put on by the army. But in a few days she will be placed on a stretcher in the back of an RAF Hercules cargo plane for the extremely grueling 12-hour flight to Ascension Island, then onto an RAF VC-10 for a further 10-hour flight to England, a country she's only visited once before in her entire life. This, in the absence of any air link with South America, is the reality of the Falkland Islands' isolation. A frail old lady of 82 must travel 1/3 of the way around the world for the medical treatment she urgently requires.
Argentine footballer Osvaldo Ardiles rejoins his Spurs teammates in a training session 8 months after leaving Britain because of the Falklands crisis. It's expected he'll be back in the Spurs team in time for the 3rd round of the FA Cup a week tomorrow. He says he always wanted to return to British football, but he's still worried about the possibility of a hostile reception from some British fans. And that's the last news on BBC One this year. And for me, it's an occasion of some sadness, because it's also the end of my 28 years of reading the news. To me, it's extraordinary, but it happens to be true that mine was the first voice on the first television news bulletin broadcast in Britain. The big news that night was the end of meat rationing, a legacy of the Second World War. At the London docks, 104 ships are not being worked. Well, unknown to me, the newsroom people have got together what I'm told is a sort of musical farewell. I haven't seen it, so it'll be just as big a surprise to me as to you.
News reader, we'll sure miss your smile. We love to hear the things you say.
This is the 9 o'clock news.
No.
I am.
Wherever you're going, you must get more pain. You're leaving, but we must remain.
Goodbye, goodbye, we're leaving you, diddly-da. Goodbye, we wish upon goodbye, pa-da-da-da-da.
Reader.
Well, some of that I'd rather forget. If you won't be with us later on BBC Two, I'll say goodbye to you now from this particular chair, and a very happy new year from all of us in the newsroom.
wish I could sing like that, but farewell to you, Richard. The weather, I'm afraid, isn't seeing you out in very good style. It's brought a lot of very windy weather to start next year with. These fronts are going to carry rain that's already reached the northwest, and the rain will be coming right down across the country during tonight and tomorrow. It will actually be followed by brighter weather, but colder weather, I think, for the north, with showers coming along on those westerly winds. And then I think Sunday a brighter day for most of us, and certainly drier in the south. On the satellite picture, we can see the extent of that cloud. It really is quite a dominating mass of white cloud showing up, covering much of the Atlantic just west of us and reaching those northwestern areas. There's some clear weather still over central parts of England, but some patchy cloud in the south might give a little drizzle for a time. You can just make out in the top left-hand corner of your picture there the first signs of those showers that'll be coming along during the course of tomorrow. But for tonight, it's generally rain that we're talking about in the north rather than showers, some quite heavy and prolonged rain, and that's going to work its way slowly southeastwards. I don't think a frost to worry about in many areas, except for parts of northern England, where skies are still fairly clear. Southeastern areas staying dry tonight, I think, throughout the night, really, and still dry for just a short while tomorrow morning, but it's not going to be too long, I think, before the rain arrives. It'll already have occupied a fair chunk of northern England, through Wales, down to the southwest. So some rain turning up, making much of England and Wales rather dull and wet tomorrow, certainly during the morning, but eventually that brighter weather further north will edge a little bit further south. I think northern parts of England becoming drier for a time. And on behalf of me and the Met Office, a very happy New Year to you. Good night.
There's a wealth of new drama coming to BBC One. The Fourth Arm, a dangerous but vital mission against a German base in occupied France.
We believe this is a new, frightening, secret weapon. Gentlemen, we need to destroy it.
The Citadel. Ben Cross stars as an idealistic young doctor beginning his career in a Welsh village.
What he did or didn't do is not our business.
I'd say it is our business if it's typhoid and lives are at stake, especially those of my patients.
Nanny. The outbreak of war brings a new role for Barbara, with the departure of her husband and the arrival of evacuees.
What's your name?
My name's Roderick, and I think I'm going to be fake.
Oh, come on.
Bergerac. John Nettles returns as the rebel detective on the Channel Island of Jersey. Scorpion. An attempt on the life of an influential French woman sparks off a race against time to find her and solve the mystery of her past.
These are the last known pictures of Gabrielle, taken the same morning, 2 hours after the bombing. That's a very frightened lady. I would say it was the face of a woman who was about to run.
New drama coming to BBC One.
And now on BBC One, a touch of comedy for this New Year's Eve, as Ronnie Barker stars in the film version of the television series Porridge.
Lovely. And who's the request for?
My husband, Kevin.
What would you like to say to him, love?
Well, just sort of tell him that I love him and I can't wait for the day when he comes home.
Ah, how long is he going to be away?
About 2 years.
Terrific. So, if you're listening, Kevin, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, have a nice day, and this record's just for you.
No, I can't forget this evening.
Excuse me, Pete. Can I catch a lift? Oh, well, no, we've not... Beale, just been posted here. Joe! A brother officer. Yes, of course. Save me the cab fare. Ah, well, I'd still claim for it, though. Thank you.